You're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Hey, Ben, it's Elgin. I called in yesterday and we talked a little bit about the economic situation.
Yeah.
My question is this. Last night, I don't know if you guys talked about this because I joined you late tonight. It was released that one of Hillary Clinton's ex-staffers was given immunity. And I find this really concerning. And it's not that, when I look at this, I see, the right-wing smear campaign towards the Clintons. However, the thing is there any substance to this? And not only that, but if this turns out to be a can of worms that opens up later on after, let's say she does win the nomination, and it does open up later on, what are the implications of that going into the general? And also, will the media turn on her like a pack of rabid dogs at that point? Because I just get this feeling that they have really, they prop Hillary up, but I don't feel like they have any loyalty to anybody whatsoever. So I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on that.
Yeah, sure, man. Thanks so much for the call. We'll give some thoughts on that in these last 6 minutes of the show. Speaking of the last 6 minutes of the show, I won't forget. Thanks so much, Molly. So glad to have you, and we'll see you guys definitely the next time. I know that was a private chat over here on our side, but I happened to read it out loud, so glad to have you. 6 minutes left in the show. We've actually started getting closer and closer and closer to 2 hours a night. We had a threshold of $500 on Patreon. If you guys could commit that much, that we would do 2 hours a night. Those funds, we are at $4.97. So somebody go pledge $3 so that next week it'll be official that we'll be 2 hours a night. I'm going to be working with Solomon and Anoa and Nis, and we're going to split up those 2 hours. I'll be on for all 2 hours, but I can't force them to be here as much as I am, obviously. But we're going to give them as much time. Yeah,
it's cathartic for us too.
But you guys can have as much time as you want because 2 hours is a lot. But we have great conversations that go by like this when we're doing it together. So we'll create a structure. But we want somebody to go over there and pledge that last $3. And for everyone who's donating, you will start seeing, or you are actually already seeing the fruits of it. You're really investing into good ground. We are going to do a lot of different things. One of the things that I'm kind of filibustering around some of them, but one of the things I want to tell you about is the Progressive Army website. We have only just begun with that. We have some fabulous writers who are over there writing every single day, and what you donate is going to go to building their platform so that more people can read their stuff every single day. So we're going to be building the Facebook page. We're going to be investing money there with the dollars that you send. We're growing our audience. Right now we only have a few hundred, but we're going to turn that into a few 100,000. And that's what we're going to be using those funds for. Everything that you're sending, and I know it's Patreon, and I don't have to disclose, but I want you to know that you're investing into something good, and you're not just investing into me getting a car or something like that. No, you're investing into the Benjamin Dixon Show and the Progressive Army. So you've given us a small operating budget, and from there, watch us work. Watch us make these dollars stretch, and watch us do some fabulous things. So that being said, I've eaten up 2 of the 6 minutes that we had left to discuss the caller's question about Hillary Clinton's email. I don't know. I'm personally, I'm the last person to accept that something happened because I'm so skeptical about everything. I have to wait until I see all the evidence. I can't say that I think that there's actually a lot of meat on these bones, because from everything I've read, that is straight news and not commentary, is that it's not enough information for us to make that call right now. But there is an ongoing investigation. The problem with an investigation is there doesn't have to actually be a conviction of any type for the investigation itself to be a strain on someone running for president of the United States. Subpoenas are enough for the news cycle to eviscerate your candidate. So if Hillary Clinton is our candidate and they simply subpoena her, that is enough to scuttle her entire campaign. It doesn't matter. It could come out to be that she's done absolutely nothing wrong, but the news cycle will eat her alive. because they don't have any loyalty. And that's the only thing I think they have right, is that you should not have loyalty. If they get enough blood in the water, they would turn on their own staff, right? Because sensationalization sells. So they will eat Hillary Clinton alive if someone like what's her chief of staff? What's her number one?
Uma Abedin.
Thank you. If they subpoenaed her, that's a wrap. She's going to get hit for enough points. In the general election, she's only beating Trump by 2 points, right? So a subpoena would get her for at least 6 to 10 points. It's over with. So it doesn't matter if she's guilty or not. If this comes as an October surprise, then it's enough to damage her. So I'm going to throw it. I see Kelly wants to say something, then Solomon, and then Anoa.
Mine's just super quick. I wanted to call out something that the caller said, and R. Anarella from our YouTube comments pointed out, which is mainstream media creating clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that if there's something there, we should talk about it, but I kind of throw this under something that's giving us something to share and retweet on Facebook, but it's not really giving us any substance. It's kind of making us focus on something that's not going to bring our movement forward in any way. So, I mean, I would encourage people, like, be aware that it's there, but let that stuff go where it's got to go. Focus on our messaging, focus on getting the right information to the right people, and let this scandal nonsense. I mean, that's why Bernie's not talking about. That's why he said early on, I'm sick of hearing about your damn emails. Like, he's not talking about that. Talk about her transcripts if you want to talk about something. Like, talk about getting her to release that stuff.
If those transcripts come out in October, so and I agree with you so much, Kelly. It's like I want the progressive. Thank you. This is what I'm going to say. I want the progressive army. This is what I need from you guys. We won't deal in half-truths. We would deal in facts. We won't deal in innuendo. We won't deal in propaganda. We won't deal in conspiracy theory. And that doesn't mean that we ignore everything. That means let's investigate everything with as critical of an eye as possible. Let's be as objective as possible. And right now, I just don't have I haven't read anything sufficient enough to tell me that this investigation has meat on it such that she's going to get a conviction or she's going to be indicted even. I think that there is an investigation, and sometimes in media, in an election, an investigation is enough to do damage.
So really quick, the chat is exploding a little bit right now about the emails that have actually been released are revealing facts that she's lied about TPP and other topics during the election.
Right.
I haven't seen any, and maybe I'm just not looking the right place, but I haven't seen any mainstream media articles releasing that information. So if someone wants to point me towards that and we can start getting that out, I agree that if it's talking about her stances on the issues, but in the end, attacking Hillary isn't going to win us Bernie. It isn't going to win the election for Bernie. Right. I appreciate disparaging her as much as the next Bernie fan, because sometimes it's just fun to do that, but it's not getting a positive message out. It's not convincing someone to vote for Bernie when you do that. So that's just my
So the TPP, Solomon, I give it to you because I know you have probably more. The TPP emails, I did read those articles about her contradicting herself, but let's be kind of objective here. When has she not contradicted herself? When has she not flip-flop? When has she not been dishonest with us? So I don't, nothing has come out that has said this is ground shaking and ground shattering. Not yet. Can it? Yeah, it really could, but I'm not investing a lot of energy there. Go ahead, Solomon.
I have to disagree on one of those emails because, one, if the media cared about trade deals as much as people like Ed Schultz in the media cared about trade deals, some of those emails would be fatal to her, particularly not the TPP emails, but the Colombia Free Trade Deal emails. And if you want information on that, Secular Talk did a thing on that. I believe the Young Turks did, and I think the David Pakman Show did as well, where she talked about how bad it was on the campaign trail in 2008, but then said the right-wing talking points promotion of it as Secretary of State and lobbied Democrats in Congress to vote for something that was so anti-worker that it caused dozens to die in Colombia who were struggling against it. And it was it's what's happened in Colombia is a whole nother discussion. But I think that in and of itself, in the greater narrative of Bernie's message of consistency and honesty, that kind of blatant, in your face, her as campaigner saying this we shouldn't do this, and her Secretary of State doing the exact opposite is massive. And the other one I would say is about the staffer. One does not plead for immunity before saying things if you don't have something incriminating on some level. Mm-hmm. My actual guess was that it's not going to be Hillary Clinton herself, but someone like Abedin is fairly quickly. And that is going to be it's going to affect the campaign. Bernie may not want to talk about it, but I've seen Tad Devine and I've seen Jeff Weaver. They definitely want to talk about it, and they're going to insinuate or message in different ways, regardless of this, if this comes out within the next few weeks.
But so that's the problem, though. The problem, going back to what your original point is if people cared as much. Here's the thing. We are dealing with a campaign. How can I say this really quickly? They don't care about those objective facts. They don't care about the fact that Hillary has flip-flopped to the detriment of people's lives. They don't care, right? So even if this comes out and it's us pushing it because we care, right? We care about that it demonstrates how dishonest that she has been. Her supporters are like Donald Trump supporters. No matter what they find out about her, they don't care. It's not going to change their vote. Now, to the low information voters, which they do exist out there, it's really going to be one of those things where they try to make it a wash. Can you get one of these things to stick? Can you get the Columbia? And this is what we really need to ask ourselves. Can you get her stance, her flip-flop on the stance, or not even a flip-flop, but lying to the public and saying another thing in private on the Colombian trade deal? Can you get that to stick? And I just don't see that as one of those things that sticks. I really don't see a lot sticking with Hillary because she is that kind of weaselly. She's able to weasel her way out of all of these situations.
That's the same thing we say about Trump.
About Trump, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly the comparison, because her supporters don't care. They are obsessed with her as the person. And I think one thing that you guys have shown me, and I believe it to be true, is that if Bernie ever showed you something that was not true to what you believe, that you would not still be all about Bernie. And that's what I like about his particular movement, is because you can be a part of the movement and not be sold to his personality, right? The movement exists without Bernie Sanders. So if Bernie Sanders was found to have done half the things or even 1/10 of the things that Hillary Clinton has flip-flopped on, I believe people would lose their faith in Bernie Sanders and turn on Bernie Sanders, which I think they should. That's not going to happen on Hillary Clinton's side, because they are obsessed with the personality, and as soon as that personality is gone, that movement dies with it. So, I don't think these are going to stick. Not yet. I don't think the Colombian deal is going to stick because her people don't care. I don't think the TPP is going to stick because her people don't care. At what point can you get something to stick? That's the only thing that I think is going to matter, and I don't see it yet. A subpoena of what's her name? Ahmed. I can never pronounce it.
Umar Abedin.
A subpoena on that level is potentially something that can stick, but you know what? They're just going to sacrifice her and leave the senator and leave the Secretary of State clear and free. Now, we just been running our mouths. Noah, you get the last word, and I'm playing this closing music. And hang on, because this time it's my fault. Noah, you got the last word.
I personally stay away from all that email, all the scandal stuff, because it doesn't help us, because people know all that stuff about the Clintons that they know, like, regardless of this stuff, and they still support them anyway. They don't care.